Hello everyone, back from another trip to the Goodwill bargain bins, and I found a lot of really good stuff this morning, particularly in the case of books. A lot of really cool books, first editions, some really nice vintage books, and then later we'll get into it, found a bunch of VHS, DVDs, pretty much everything, some good music finds, so a little bit of everything. Getting into the books first, because this was the most exciting. I mean, genuinely one of the first things I pulled for less than a quarter, a 1977 first book club edition of The Shining by Stephen King in like pristine condition. Like looks brand new. It's fantastic. Look through the pages and everything is just pristine, white pages still, just not a mark on anything. You can't beat that for like less than a quarter by weight. And then we have Nightmares and Dreamscapes by Stephen King, and then a bunch of mostly first edition from the 80s hardcovers, horror from Robert R. McCammon. The cover of this one really caught my eye at first. Stinger. Then we had Bethany's Sin, The Night Boat, and They Thirst. So that alone was like, wow, that was a really cool start to the morning. And then this book really caught my eye from 1939. I believe the 12th edition. I have to double check again. But from 1939, the original is a little bit earlier than that. But we have The Great Book of Magical Art, Hindu Magic, and Indian Occultism by L.W. D. Lawrence. And this is a really cool, huge vintage book. And I was just kind of flipping through, and it's fascinating. Some really cool, interesting information, some cool artwork and stuff. So it's just a cool curiosity from another time. And yeah, I couldn't believe like the condition again. I thought when I first picked it up and just looking through it, I'm like, this has to be a very recent reprint. That's what my initial thoughts were. And looking through, I was like, no, this is from the 30s, and it's perfect. Then we get into another vintage book that was in like really good condition. It's a cool cover, and I love the way pages are. And again, I thought this was going to be newer because it looks brand new. But this is again another great Youth's Golden Cycle: How to Get On in the World. They got kind of a guide for kids, teens going into adulthood. And this one is from 1884. 1884, and it looks and feels like someone kept this in really good shape because it looks like it just came off of a shelf. And then we have The Young and Secret. Love the cover of this one. It's more good vintage books fine. And this one too is like an embossed cover with the face of Victor Hugo. Notre Dame de Paris, Volume 1. The Edge of the Unknown, Arthur Conan Doyle. My Winter Garden, another early turn-of-the-century book from the early 30s, a book of famous myths and legends, so that was a really cool design. Summer of the Monkeys, one of the first hardcover editions of that. Thornbirds. And then even though it's a library copy, I really wanted to pick this up because this is the 1945 edition of Stuart Little. It's like, okay, that was really cool. And then we have Mystic London. That was another nice vintage book find. I kept pulling stuff that was fantastic. It was too bad there was another section where there's a lot of other really cool, a lot of turn-of-the-century books up through maybe early 30s, 40s, but those definitely had like water damage and there was some mold issues, and I kind of stayed away from that one. But I just kept pulling up like really cool books, and then one that's a little different, but more from my childhood. We have Bill Nye the Science Guys. Consider the Following. At the Edge of Empire, Volume 1, from Daniel Kraus. Zebulon Finch, The Death and Life. Zebulon Finch is a more recent book. We have Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, Through the Looking Glass. Love this beautiful edition of the Lewis Carroll classic. Some Magic Treehouse, a few Star Trek book finds. I have both of these in my collection, but I always kind of grab Star Trek paperbacks as you never see them anymore, ever. At thrift stores, bargain bins, used bookstores even, rarely, if those are hard to find themselves, but hard to find them, so I always grab them, see if maybe they're in better condition than mine, or they end up in the store then if I have those just once. Yes Ma'am, Erotic Stories of Female Dominance. Blood Infernal. And then a nice vintage hardcover of Frog and Toad Are Friends. I had a nice paperback edition of this when I was a kid. Light from Heaven. Taken by Midnight. Herman the Great. One of the Pendragon books, book $1.25. The Puffin Classics Red Badge of Courage. One of the Full House books with Stephanie Fuller. The Doll Graveyard, some Beverly Cleary. And The Hero and the Crown, Robin McKinley. I actually remember reading this book as a kid, and it was one of those where it's a book that I've never thought of again, probably since I originally read it at maybe 5 or 6 years old. And when I just kind of saw the cover, I'm like, it brought back a memory. It's like, I remember reading that. It wasn't like a particular favorite, I don't think, because I obviously didn't reread it or keep over the years, but that was cool to find this hardcover edition from the 80s. So, ex-library copy, but it's just cool to see stuff like that. And on top of all those amazing book finds, I had some pretty good music finds as well on cassette. I have a whole bunch of stuff here. Some Judas Priest, Lita, Pat Benatar, Motley Crue, Girls, Girls, Girls. A lot of more 80s in general. Some Led Zeppelin, Rat, Out of the Cellar, some Van Halen, more Led Zeppelin, and Fleetwood Mac. Then we have Al Jolson Greatest Hits, 20-track collection. Some Billy Idol on CD. And this was kind of cool, this CD from the Black Belt magazine. I've seen issues of that before. Karate Weapon of Self-Defense, nunchucks, a full motion, color, on-screen video demonstrations, really cool. So you put this in your PC back in the day and watch all these very compressed video files of some demonstrations and some, it's just really cool, instructional arts, martial arts instructional CD. Variable speed, slow down motion, and 5-frame advanced review. Wow, full screen and window viewing. Cool. And on VHS, some Blue's Clues, The Addams Family, first of the movies from the 90s, Christmas Vacation, Arthur, Star Trek 3, Secrets of Alcatraz, Dora the Explorer Christmas, Batman, Dragnet, the movie, some Berenstain Bears, Jurassic Park, Little Engine That Could, the Die Hard trilogy. I've found this box set quite a few times actually over years. And then this is actually probably my favorite of the bunch, the Epcot Center, direct from Walt Disney World Resort. Make your own magic. So enjoy a video tour of the Walt Disney World Resort, the Magic Kingdom, Disney MGM Studios theme park, and Epcot Center, and the GM World of Motion. That's really cool. So I actually really want to give this one a watch. This, what year did this come out? 89, so this is going to be really cool. One of my wife's probably going to check out because she wouldn't remember from 89, but like early 90s, a lot of these Disney sites. So yeah, just a window into a different time. I think this is like my favorite of the video finds for today. And one other audio find here on 4 cassettes. We have Watership Down. Nice audio cassette collection. I love audiobooks still, especially a lot of the old Star Trek and Star Wars ones. Those are great. So many of them were never transferred then to CD. It's a shame. I feel like audiobooks really were dominant with cassettes and then moved more to like digital formats, and not quite as many released on CDs, which is sad. We have on DVD, start off with a John Wayne movie pack, Thomas and Friends, a steelbook of The Hangover Part 2 Blu-ray, Transformers, Revenge of the Fallen DVD, Working Girl. This is a good kind of forgotten 80s movie, I feel like. I don't hear anyone talking about it, even though it has Harrison Ford and Sigourney Weaver, and this is a fun movie. Philadelphia, The Kane Mutiny, a 5-disc National Geographic box set, Ultimate Factories Car Collection. Yeah, cool set for some car enthusiasts out there. Hombre. I was happy to find this sealed. We have the PBS Gettysburg and the Civil War. Includes the 24-page booklet, a nice DVD set. Dirty Pair, Girls with Guns, some classic anime. And this is cool because Sea Hunt is one of those shows that feels like it's been forgotten by time, and it's kind of cool, starring Lloyd Bridges. And it's one that I've only ever seen a few random episodes here and there, because you just don't see it. It's not one that was reprinted frequently. There's a handful of random episodes in like public domain sets and stuff. But we have the best of season 1. It's a sealed DVD set, 2-disc set, and has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12 episodes. So that's pretty, is like one of the bigger Sea Hunt collections. I think there's a super, super rare complete or mostly complete series collection, but I've never come across that. This is actually the most I've ever seen in one collection. And yeah, just kind of cool to see stuff like that. And then to finish off for this, and then I actually went one other place, found 2 action figures. They're just kind of worth picking up and grabbing. Usually don't find a lot, or they're usually broken, but we found this. But the main reason I was looking through the toys, even though he has a little bit of fading on like the hair, some of the paint, I found a Scotty in his original series uniform, and I never ever see Star Trek action figures anymore. I wish I grabbed more than I had when I was, a kid. I had tons as a kid, but even more like afterwards, like early 2000s, seeing them in thrift stores, because they just don't exist in thrift stores anymore. So I was overjoyed to find this little Scotty sitting there in a bin. Really, really cool. Very, very happy to find him. And then I was done with the bins, and I didn't want to go home. I was on a high. I was like, kind of want to go back in, but after a while, they really just kind of bring out recycling kind of the same stuff, and there's kind of stopped bringing media out really after the first few turns. And I found out there was a newish, it must be newish, I'd never even heard that one was there before, a community aid thrift store within less than 10 minutes of the bins. Like, oh, I'll go check it out. And like most community aids, there really wasn't a whole lot in there, but I actually did find a couple of cool things. So a few things made me happy that I did stop in. This Jesse Stone collection on DVD, and I find occasionally some of these individually, particularly in the bins, and they don't do super, super well individually. You have to have kind of a couple of them. It's one of those that has a small fan base, but eventually people like to check them out. But I've never seen this 8-movie box set, and I was already going to grab it when I saw it, and then I was just opening it to check it out to see, if all the discs are actually in there, if there's a good shape, and they're all still sealed on the inside. They're all brand new. So this is a brand new box set, and wow, that was easily worth grabbing for the price, and it was the sales sticker anyway, so I'm like, alright, this is good enough to show up there anyway. But then I found 13 episodes on 2 discs, some anime, Say I Love You, and then I grabbed this the second I saw it because I know Tasmania is out of print. 2-disc set, it's season 1 part 2. So anything Tasmania related, I will grab if I see it. And this, I do remember seeing this show, the theme song, since I saw it, was stuck in my head. This is a very, very catchy theme song. It wasn't one of my personal favorites, but that theme song, that opening, that can come to Tasmania, and it was really kind of an iconic show of a short period of time, and you don't find that stuff a lot. So this was definitely an easy grab for like $3. That was a really good find. Happy I went there, just find those couple of things, and overall a fantastic morning. Really, really happy with the books in particular, just in perfect shape. And I can't believe some of them, I can't believe finding stuff from the 30s and still looks like it's in brand new condition. And these are the kind of things I like to find the most. One, because they're interesting to me. Some of them I go ahead and read. Fascinating look into another time period, but also because of where I get them, a lot of times the next stop for these things is the trash, is the dump. Sometimes they get recycled out and sent to other thrift stores or bought out to different regions. It's a complicated process, but a lot of times, especially with where this is and some of the media stuff, a lot of it has been cycled through, and a good chunk of it just gets thrown away forever. So I like being able to find and save these kind of things and have them out there for someone who's going to actually treasure them, give them a good home, someone who actually really wants them, get their hands on them. So yeah, just a lot of fun and an excellent morning. Definitely a great way to start the weekend.